I'm back. I made it. I missed last week, but I'm back. What's up, what's going on, guys? Joe back here talking about more Walking Dead, the ones who live. I had company last week, so I was unable to discuss episode 2. I was unable to watch it until Saturday, actually. Today is Monday. I just watched episode 3, and we are here to discuss both those episodes. Primarily 3, because 2 is more of just a background episode. We're going to discuss why I think it shouldn't have been. But yeah, so let's get going. Let's see, what do we have written here? Yeah, so obviously in episode 2, let's start with that. Michonne finds some people, Nat, and the couple there, and they set off to find Rick. I loved that group. I knew they weren't all gonna make it. Kind of obvious when she said she was pregnant, she was a goner. I wish Nat did, and it's not just because Nat is a great character and very likable. It's just what I was gonna say a few seconds ago is just it just seems like that whole subplot is pointless now. It feels like a subplot that could have been a building for a new character in Nat. Now everyone that we met in episode 2 has either left the show or is dead, which is I don't like that. Like killing Okafor, as much as I like Okafor, it was awesome. It was necessary just to be like, hey, anything can happen. But the reason that it worked is because we still have General Beale. I'm sorry, I still don't know that the woman's name that just got promoted above Rick. I don't know her name. But we still have those characters at the CRM. They just killed everyone off that Michonne traveled with. So I wish they had made Nat survive. I love how Nat saw um, Rick before he died, so he at least knew that he was able to complete his mission. He had done what he set out to do and died happy in that way. But I also want an explanation on exactly how and what those bombs were. Like, how did he get those bombs? He just was walking around with them, and what were they? Like the thing that went in Okafor's chest, still not too much of an explanation. He's like, oh, it's a dud. Friggin' blew up Okafor. I mean, shit. I mean, pretty damn effective. Dud. But yeah, I think it was a good episode. I think 3 was a great episode. Jadis, man, Jadis. So very interesting. She said that she owed Rick her a favor, and that was saving his life. So he was mad at her in that flashback at the beginning of episode 3 for bringing him there, and she's like, "What? Just let you die?" So we see why Jadis brought him. I don't think Jadis wanted to bring him, like, were it her choice, but it was out of her hands. Rick was gonna die, and she owed her. Like if she could have saved him without bringing him to the CRM, she 100% would have. But she had to bite that bullet, and she's dedicated to the CRM and can't let him go. I think that's how that goes. And now that he's trying to leave, he's become an issue. So now they're kind of enemies. And now that Michonne's there, it's even worse. I think it's going to be such an interesting dynamic with Jadis knowing all this information and withholding it from the CRM, but holding it above Rick's head because she is the enemy again. Um, so what was I going to say? It's just such an interesting dynamic, I believe, between Rick and Michonne right now, where Rick has just come to terms that they are stuck there, right? Like I thought that was insane when like he was like, "We leave tonight," blah blah blah, and I was sitting there thinking, I was like, "What about Jadis? What about?" And then I got my question answered. He was trying to just send her along on her way. He has accepted that they are stuck there. Michonne has not accepted that yet. So Michonne and Rick are in a way working against each other, which is really interesting. But my biggest question, and I think this is an error on the writer's part actually, is why was Jadis going to cover up for Michonne when Rick said that she had left? Like, there was nothing specifically about Rick that made Jadis keep him there. It was just the fact that she wasn't going to let anybody out. Just the same as anybody. She wasn't going to let anybody out. She just held a certain weight on Rick because she knew where he lived. She holds that same weight on Michonne. Why would she not care that Michonne had escaped? It was that scene right after Michonne escaped, or Rick thought she had, and Rick told Jadis that Michonne had escaped. And he's like, please, you need to cover for her. You need to be there. And she was like, okay. So she was just going to let Michonne escape? That didn't make any sense to me. I think it was a bluff on the, not a bluff, a mishap on the writer's part. My phone's ringing. I am going to make sure that it stops. Next question I have, what is the echelon plan? I think we have a lot of guesses as to what the echelon plan is. I don't think we should delve into it in this video because I just think it's so broad. It could be literally anything that a guess at this point is futile. What I want to know is, was Rick told the echelon plan between the scene where he was moving the bomb with Michonne, or I don't know what it was. Maybe it was like the siren thing. Um, was he told that between that scene and the scene where he told Michonne, "You're getting your ass back," like that? Dude, he was so harsh with her. Did they tell him? I think they're trying. If they did tell him, I think they tried to infer that. But I'm not 100% certain. I don't think they did a good job if they were trying to infer that, saying that he was told. Because like that late, I'm sorry, I just don't know her name. She was told the plan, and she kept like bringing it up. She's like, "Once you know what I know, like you'll understand." And then at the end of the episode, his whole mood had shifted. Does she know? Does he know what she knew? Which it kind of surprises me. Maybe if he does, we're seeing that part of the show through Michonne's perspective, where she's gonna find out later. I thought we would be seeing something like the echelon plan, through Rick's perspective. But if he does know it right now, clearly we're getting it through Michonne's perspective later. I don't think, like I said, I don't think I should be taking a shot on what it means or what it is. I don't think it's going to. I don't think I'm going to be correct. So, yeah. Um, let's see what we got here. Tell me Michonne had a parachute. That's all I wrote. At the end of the episode, tell me she had a parachute. I really, obviously she did. I'm freaking joking. Um, One of my favorite scenes in the whole series so far is when she met the guy who did the carving. That was awesome. How she just saw the carvings on the TVs and she just immediately knew, like, hey, I know this guy, and that guy was like, "You're Michonne, Judith." Like he seemed like boys with Rick. It was really a wholesome scene. He came down because she was feeling like Rick's a bastard. Rick was gonna get rid of me forever. Blah blah blah. And then he turned that around by just talking to her, and he just seemed like a really nice guy. I don't know if they're gonna explore the fact that he might be an issue, knowing who Michonne is, knowing she's there. Because other than Rick, Jadis, and Michonne, it seems like this is the only guy that knows that that's not Dana. Which, by the way, I love that she's using her name in real life. I just think that's such a nice like little Easter egg for people who have been watching for a while and know Dana. I can't spell her. I can't say her last name. It begins with a G. Or is it Deny? I don't know. It's close though. But yeah, I love that they're using her name as Dana. I hope that they don't find a problem with the TV guy, the guy who did the carvings, because I know he was in it for like 5 seconds or like a scene, but he seems like a nice guy. I want him to stay alive. Some uncalled guys so far: Heath, Morgan, and Rick's buddy from the first episode. Haven't seen him since the first episode, so those are X factors that could be coming in. I feel like that guy, the friend from the first episode, definitely should be back at some point because he's in this series. I imagine he's going to be a character that is expanded upon a little more. Morgan or Heath should be back. If I had to take a shot, sorry Heath lovers, I gotta say Morgan's probably going to be back at some point because he did say in the final episode of his appearance in Fear the Walking Dead that he's got to find Rick. He's got to find him. So we'll see. Um, Rick making fun of Jadis' haircut. Yeah. Is that really all I have written here? Other than, of course, what's gonna happen next episode. So yeah, I feel like we did a pretty good job reviewing last episode, right? I like what they're doing. So I like what they're doing where Rick and Michonne had their moment, right? Where they were like, "We're back together, yay!" And then it was like, "I gotta get you out of here. Like we gotta be together." Rick, that scene was so intense. Once Nat had died and Rick knew that the chopper was coming, it just it was the first instance of him knowing that the CRM was gonna catch him. He wasn't like, I mean, look at what he had working for him. There was a helicopter with burning dead bodies and a dude who literally exploded and evaporated in Okafor. And he knew that the CRM would somehow find him. Had they like ran or hid in a bush or some shit, they wouldn't have just presumed him dead. That's crazy to me that he would feel that way, and he's that confident that the CRM is just on top of their shit like that. So that's rough for Rick. And like I said, Michonne, she just wants to get the hell out of there. She wants to get out of there as fast as possible. Those scenes where she's talking to Judith, like the Soko or Soto, and she's Doto or whatever, definitely butchered the Doto. But I assume she's not talking into a walkie-talkie. I can only assume that the CRM took all of her possessions. It's particularly a friggin' walkie-talkie to communicate to the outside world. I assume that all that's gone. So who's she saying this to? I do not know. Maybe she's just saying it to herself, like Rick would write letters to Michonne to himself. I think Michonne did the same to Judith in that notebook. Maybe she's writing in the notebook still. Who knows? Actually, no, because she got rid of the notebook because she couldn't have anything on her person that would relay her back to Alexandria. Which, by the way, is smart. I love that Rick was like, "Don't call them walkers. That's what I called them." Very clever little detail there. They never really address the fact that other places called them other things until like that one line, and we had 11 seasons of The Walking Dead. Maybe Herschel's farm at the beginning. They were like, I call him mom and shit like that. But no, not everyone calls them walkers. So had Michonne been like, I was running from walkers, they would have been like, that's the sword lady. They would have picked up on it right away. Um, yeah, I think and from here on out, General Beale is going to be more of a bad guy, and so is the lieutenant lady there. I think the next episode, it looks like Rick and Michonne are going to be on their own a lot. I like that. I'm going to like seeing some interactions between them that aren't fabricated between, Rick and Dana. I want to see the real Rick and Michonne have some decent conversations. Um, I'm curious if we're just going to see their POV of things though, and not the POV of the CRM. Like we've known these characters for a few episodes now. It would make sense if we were able to follow them a little bit, but it would also make sense if we only saw the story through Rick and Michonne's eyes and weren't sure what they were up to. So I think that's going to be very interesting if we're going to see what the CRM is doing after Rick and Michonne jump out of the helicopter. Like, are they going to turn around? Did they notice that? Like, what's going on here? I think that would probably be the best fit where we do see what General Beale and the lieutenant, like what their interaction is going to be like. After that, what Jadis is up to. Maybe Jadis will be the third POV. You got Rick and Michonne, and then you can see what's happening from Jadis's POV. She's gonna see the repercussions of the CRM after Rick and Michonne jumped out of the chopper. Um, so yeah, I don't know what else more there is to elaborate on. I think the next episode is just going to be a lot of Michonne trying to find ways to escape the CRM, and just no matter what she says, Rick just doesn't believe it'll work. I mean, Rick's tried everything. They have established firmly that Rick's tried everything. Like a lot of these situations, like when I watch a show or Walking Dead even, like I'll be like, they could have done this. But come on, friggin' idiot. I don't know what Rick could have done better than chop off his own damn hand. Like everything that he has done to get back home, they have done a great job of like not cutting any corners and being like, yeah, he really went to all odds. You try to come up with something else. So I don't know what they're going to come up with. That's another thing. I don't know what the echelon plan is, and I don't know what the hell they're going to come up with to escape the CRM if Rick has given up this much hope. Also, where did they land? The chopper was traveling from, I think, like Portland, Oregon, right? The Cascades and shit. Well, that's actually pretty far, but the West Coast. So it's traveling from the West Coast back to Philly. Where do they jump out of the chopper? How far are they? Is that why they're gonna run into Morgan? That would be a million. That'd be stupid. That'd be dumb if they just end up jumping out like right over where, because he's coming from where, like Texas. Maybe he like cuts up directly north and then to the east toward Philadelphia or something. I don't know. But if they jump out of a chopper and just run into Morgan, that'll be really ridiculously stupid. Maybe they jumped over Omaha, which just got destroyed. That would be interesting because it's not exactly on the way back, but I mean, hell, I've seen stranger shit happen. So I wonder where they jumped out. That'll be interesting because we just covered the West Coast for the first time in the last episode. We're going to cover a brand new area in this one. Yeah, for the third time. I think that's it. So I'll be back for next week. It looks like it's going to be a good week. Um, wondering if Michonne will convince Rick to leave the CRM or try to escape by the end of next episode. Obviously, there's only 3 episodes left. And if they're going to make their grand escape, it'll be episode 6. So if they are to make a grand escape, she'll need to either convince him in this episode or the next one. This series is moving along pretty quick. They aren't, stalling on any one storyline for too long. So I imagine that she'll probably be able to convince Rick this week. I'm just very curious to see how she's going to go about doing that. Yeah, so that's what we'll be discussing next week. Hopefully, how she convinced them and their upcoming plan. So, yeah, like, comment, subscribe. Stay tuned for next week and plenty of more content on the channel. Talk to you later.